my beloved child. In the moment when your soul is still confused by the things human eyes cannot perceive, I, the one who called the stars into their places, am drawing near, not with thunder, nor with consuming fire, but with the gentleness of a sacred invitation. I speak to you not to sow fear into your heart, but to awaken within you a spiritual intuition long buried beneath the noise of this world. You have walked many roads, met many souls, heard many stories. Yet throughout your journey there are depths only I have seen, depths you could never touch on your own. And so I am calling you nearer, as a father bending low to his child standing bewildered at a crossroads of choices. From the highest realms of light, I see every breath you take. Nothing in your life escapes my attention, from the fleeting thoughts passing like a breeze, to the subtle intentions you yourself have never named. When you stood among situations that appeared peaceful on the surface, I saw the silent movements behind them. When you entered relationships that seemed harmless, I saw the currents beneath them, the complex motives your kind and trusting heart could never imagine. Not because you are weak, but because your tenderness always chooses to see goodness first. I love this about you, but for that very reason, I come to shield you from shadows hiding beneath faces that appear gentle. For a long time I have watched your steps through the terrains where your faith was tested. At times you stood strong, at times you wavered, but never once did you slip out of my hand. I saw those who approached you with pure intentions, but I also saw those who carried bitterness or hidden desire in their hearts. And I did not leave you to navigate such layers on your own. That is why I come to open your eyes, not by exposing every dark thing, but by giving you the clarity to recognize where peace dwells and where your steps should gently withdraw. The guidance I give you is not a general warning. It is divine illumination tailored to the path you are walking. Do you remember the story of Elisha and the Shunammite woman in her house? The prophet received warm hospitality, yet Gehazi the servant could not see the deeper layers of her heart, while heavenly light revealed to Elisha what human perception could not. I remind you of this so you may understand that what I speak to you today does not arise from speculation but from knowledge beyond the boundaries of time. I see what is forming before it manifests. I see the silent thoughts that have not yet become words, and I act in advance to prevent harm from touching your life. Among the people around you, there are open hearts, but there are also hearts unknowingly nurturing embers of anger, envy, or resentment, emotions they themselves do not recognize. When such emotions smolder quietly, the enemy of the soul can fan them into sudden actions. I see these things from afar, long before they become reality. But you, with your sincere faith, often view others through the lens of goodwill. That is why I do not leave you alone in that holy innocence. I come to place wisdom within your heart, so that you do not love blindly, but love with discernment. Love is not blind. Kindness is not weakness. A soul that belongs to me carries both the softness of water and the guarding strength of fortified walls. I know there are those who once clashed with you, and you believed time had settled those fractures. You hold no bitterness, for you belong to me, but not everyone learns the art of release. Some hearts cling to resentment like an old blade, sharpening it through the years until it cuts more deeply than before. And sometimes gentle words are merely silk covering an intention even the speaker does not fully understand. I do not say this so you fear anyone, but so you understand that I protect you by letting wisdom walk ahead of you. I have stationed angels at the gateways of your life, not so that you become suspicious, but so you know my presence goes before you in every circumstance. When you stand at the threshold, they stand with you. When you sleep, They keep watch. When you walk, they surround you. And when someone draws near carrying harmful intent, my angels stir discernment in your spirit so that you feel uneasy not with fear, but with a warning from the realm of light. Treasure that signal, for it is the whisper of love I use to keep you far from danger. Know that my protection does not remove your responsibility to listen. When I speak, you must follow. When I open a door, you must enter. When I close a door, you must walk away without looking back. Obedience is not born from pressure, it grows from trust. Trust that I love you more deeply than anyone ever could. When I tell you to stay away from something, it is not restriction, but redemption. When I caution you not to enter relationships that are not from me, it is not severity, but compassion shielding you from unnecessary wounds. You were not created to live in the shadows of suspicion or fear. You were created to walk in the light of discernment. Darkness holds power only over those who do not carry light within them. But you, my child whom I called by name, have been given the ability to recognize the footsteps of intentions that are not pure. I did not call you to confrontation, but I teach you how to walk away in peace. I did not call you to debate, but I teach you how to quietly withdraw from what was never meant for you. This is the mark of maturity in me, knowing when to stand firm, when to remain silent, and when to avoid the wrong path altogether. When I tell you to step away from a person, a place, or a situation, it is not rejection, it is protection. Just as when I instructed Joseph to flee to Egypt in the night, it was not to make him run in fear, but to safeguard the Messiah from Herod's murderous intent. He obeyed, and because of that, the divine plan was preserved. So it is with you. My beloved child, your sensitivity to my voice will protect your life from invisible spears. I know you long to live at peace with everyone, and I cherish this about you. But true peace does not come from entering every open door. It comes from stepping through the door I prepared for you. Not everyone deserves access to your sacred space. Not everyone is pure enough to stand near your heart. And because you belong to me, I do not permit any dark intent to invade the place I have consecrated. My words to you today are like a cool river flowing through a burning desert. They do not come to make you tremble, but to free you from unspoken fears. You are not abandoned. You are not thrust into the battlefield alone. You are not left to wander through uncertainty. My love surrounds you before, during, and after every event. I see the upheavals long before they arrive. I prepare your escape before the trial draws near. I build invisible walls between you and harmful intentions. And when I speak, it is the sign that your moment to act has come. So let your heart settle beneath my presence. Let your ears be sensitive to the whispers I place within you. Let your steps soften under the leading of my spirit. You do not need to see the whole picture. You only need to hold my hand. I will guide you through every turn. I will protect you from every hidden scheme. I will lead you into a peace no darkness can cross. And through it all, you will learn that my love is not only your comfort, it is your shield. My beloved child, as I continue to speak to you, open your heart like a traveler lifting their arms to welcome the first breeze of dawn. For what I am revealing to you is not merely a warning, but a sacred lesson, a lesson in discernment, in the subtle art of perceiving the invisible movements surrounding your life. The mature in me do not only bow before the light, they also recognize when a corner is being veiled by shadow. This discernment does not come from natural wisdom, but from my Spirit, who gives you eyes able to see through the outward coverings people use to hide their true intentions. Understand that discernment is not judgment. nor is it suspicion. Discernment is a gift from heaven, a gift that helps you walk in the right direction at the right time, without wasting your strength on connections that are not from me. It is like a flame on a mountaintop guiding a people walking through a long night. The flame is not there to condemn the darkness, but to keep them from falling into unseen ravines. I speak these things to you because I want you to listen to what is happening inside more than what appears on the outside. People can train their faces to smile, their voices to sound gentle, their behavior to appear pleasing. But only my Spirit allows you to perceive the deeper layer of motive. I will not allow your kind heart to be wounded by pretense. I will not allow naivete to pull you into situations the enemy intends to use against you. I love you too much to stay silent while darkness circles near you, unseen. Some people enter your life only for a brief moment, yet their influence can linger long after they should have passed by unless you learn to maintain a healthy distance. Some come like a breeze, some like a storm, some like sunlight, and some like poisonous mist. You must not let anyone hold your soul except me. For human hearts shift easily, like waves tossed by the wind. When people lose their own inner peace, they begin to sow unrest around them. And when bitterness awakens in them, it becomes a blade they wield, sometimes without even knowing it. Have you ever wondered why your heart feels unsettled around someone? Even though they say nothing hurtful, why do you suddenly feel the need to step away from a place that seems peaceful? Why does your spirit tremble slightly like a faint alarm that is not imagination? It is the signal I placed within you, spiritual warning activated when something touches the boundary I have established around your soul. When your peace withdraws, it is time to step back. When your heart tightens in caution, it is my Spirit alerting you that something beneath the surface is not right. Do not ignore these signals simply to maintain outward harmony. Do not dismiss them because you believe you can endure a bit more. Wisdom is not found in tolerating danger, but in avoiding it before it becomes destructive. I do not want you to learn this lesson through tears. I want you to learn it through the holy awareness my Spirit is giving you now. My child, your identity in me is unlike anyone else's. You were not created to be a victim of hostility or envy. You were not born to be the target of harmful schemes. Because you belong to me, your steps must be guided by heavenly light. I want you to understand the language of the soul, a language not spoken with words, but with deep discernment. The enemy cannot counterfeit my peace, for the peace I give flows like water from the source of life. But he can imitate politeness, charm, and surface-level kindness. You can distinguish what is real only when your spirit moves in harmony with mine. Remember this when I do not want you near someone. I will stir your thoughts in ways that make you lose comfort around them. When I want you to leave a situation, I will cause what once attracted you to fade. When I want to keep you from a trap, I will make it impossible for you to feel peace while looking into the eyes of the one who sets it. This is not strangeness, it is my invisible protection at work. I speak these things not only so you avoid harmful intentions, but so you learn to stand in the place I have prepared for you. Not every invitation comes from me. Not every open door is a blessing. Not every smiling face carries goodness. I know your heart is gentle, and that is why I am teaching you the art of discernment, so you may know who should remain at the edge of your journey, who may walk with you for a season, and who is worthy of entering the deeper chambers of your life. Do not feel guilty when I tell you to keep your distance. Caution is not coldness. Prudence is not a lack of love. Stepping away is not contempt. Sometimes walking away from someone is how you preserve the peace I have given you. Sometimes remaining silent is how you protect yourself from unnecessary wounds. And sometimes leaving a relationship is how you say to me, I trust you more than what I see. The world often sees discernment as weakness, but in the realm of light, it is a sign of maturity. A discerning person does not live by fleeting emotions, nor are they controlled by the temporary behaviors of others. They are led by what comes from above and by the inner peace I place within them. That peace is like a compass pointing true north in every circumstance. When it turns toward danger, you must not ignore it. When it leads you toward safety, you must follow. Remember the story of David when he was still a shepherd. No one noticed him. No one saw his value. But I saw his heart. When Samuel came to anoint, he had to learn to distinguish between what I allowed and what I did not allow. Samuel looked at the eldest brother, Eliab, and assumed he was the chosen one. But I said, I do not look as man looks. Man sees the outward appearance, but I look at the heart. My child, the same principle applies to you today. When I keep you from drawing close to someone, it is because I have seen what you cannot yet see. When I open your heart to receive someone, it is because I already know that connection will bring support and peace. I am training you in a sacred skill, the skill of recognizing my voice among many voices. Discernment is not only for avoiding danger, it is also for recognizing divine appointments. Understanding who I send to strengthen you, perceiving the opportunities I open for you, and knowing the timing of movement within my plan for your life. When you become skilled in this, you will no longer live in confusion, nor will you be swept into wrong pathways. You will walk as one who carries light within, knowing when to stay still, when to move forward, and when to leave with finality. So let your heart soften in my presence. Let my spirit teach you to perceive the subtle shifts moving around your life. Let my wisdom illuminate every decision you make. You do not walk alone. You do not have to guess among endless choices. I am here, very near, placing my hand upon your shoulder and guiding you step by step. If you listen, you will realize that every warning I speak today is a foundational stone for a new journey, one in which you will walk not in fear, but in the strength and peace of one led by heavenly light. My beloved child, as you listen to these words, I want your spirit to become still, like a lake before dawn's first light. For in that sacred stillness, you will hear the tone of my voice more clearly, not a voice urging you to run, but a voice calling you toward safety, toward the shelter where my presence wraps around your soul like a protective cloak. Everything you heard in the previous words is not merely guidance, it is the foundation for a deeper awareness that I am closer than you have ever realized. This closeness is not born of fleeting emotion, but of the eternal truth that I have never taken my eyes off you, not even for a moment. There have been moments when you believed you had to walk alone, to protect yourself, to carry burdens far too heavy for your weary heart. But my child, I have never placed a burden on your shoulders and then stood back to watch. I am the one who carries, who shields, who intervenes. Like a shepherd who sees the wolf from afar, I move ahead of you to dismantle schemes that you cannot yet see. You do not notice these acts because they take place in the unseen realm. But the peace you feel in moments that should have broken you is proof that I have been fighting for you. I know you have walked into situations that seemed destined to leave scars. I know you have been wounded by people you trusted. I know there were times you wondered whether anyone truly saw your worth, or whether you were merely passing through others' lives like a fading shadow. But I tell you this long before you entered your mother's womb. I placed a spiritual seal upon your life. You did not appear on earth by accident. You were sent with purpose, with intention, with a calling deeper than anything you have yet understood. Because of this, you must not allow yourself to drift into paths that pull you out of my protection. I see every intention taking shape around you. I see those who speak kindly but harbor resentment. I see those who appear friendly but carry bitterness in their hearts. But I also see the ones I have prepared to uplift you, those who will arrive at the exact time you need them. Souls carrying light like small flames in the night. I know how each encounter shapes you, how each connection influences your spiritual atmosphere. That is why I do not let you navigate everything alone. I stand at the crossroads of your life, extending my hand, showing you which way to walk and which way to avoid. At times you think that the caution I ask of you is harshness or limitation. But my beloved child, caution is the shield I place upon your shoulders. If you walk across a field before sunrise, the dim light may keep you from seeing the serpent hidden beneath the leaves. But if you hear my voice and stop, it is not because I want to slow your journey, but because I want you to live. Pausing under my guidance is not delay, it is protection. Imagine a shepherd standing in the wilderness. When he calls his sheep, they recognize his voice not because of its volume, but because of its familiarity formed through the countless times he protected them from predators, from cliffs, from wandering astray. I am the same. I want you to recognize my voice amid the many urgent voices of the world. When my voice reaches you, it will feel like a warm light stirring gently within your heart, not causing confusion, but bringing an unusual certainty. I call not to control you, but to guard your soul from dangerous turns the enemy has prepared. I know that some people appear ordinary outwardly, but carry unhealed wounds deep within. And from those wounds spring envy, suspicion, resentment, and hostility. These emotions, when nourished long enough, can become motives that drive them into actions far from peace. I see this before they see themselves. You cannot see, but I do. You cannot know, but I already know, and I do not remain silent, because my love for you will not allow me to watch you walk into toxic winds without covering you. Many times I have placed a gentle discomfort in your heart just as you were about to engage with someone who was not meant for you. That was not fear, it was a signal telling you to step back. I have stirred you to walk away when a conversation began to carry an unsettled spiritual atmosphere. I have taken your peace when you stood at the threshold of something I did not want you to enter. All these were my quiet words, my child. Do not step where I am not. My beloved, my protection does not only surround your present, it extends into your future. When I close a door, trust that it is not rejection but shielding you from consequences you cannot yet see. When I lead you out of a relationship, do not think you are being cast aside. You are being saved from deeper wounds that would have cut your soul. When I cause someone to drift away from your life, it may be a deliverance you are not yet able to understand. What you call loss may be exactly what prevents your heart from being pierced by the spears the enemy prepared. My child, I never want you to live by fear, but I want you to live by awareness. Fear makes you shrink back. Awareness makes you walk in clarity. Fear makes you distrust people. Awareness helps you distinguish darkness from light. Fear weakens. Spiritual alertness strengthens with wisdom from above. You do not belong to darkness, so you must learn to recognize it when it tries to disguise itself under the appearance of politeness or kindness. I have stationed my angels around your home, around the thresholds you cross each day. They do not appear as the warriors you imagine in stories. They are quiet but powerful guardians. They stand in corners your eyes cannot see. They move with your steps. They swing invisible swords to shatter plans forming in the shadows. When you walk along a seemingly ordinary road, my angels clear the darkness ahead of you. When you sleep, they keep watch, so nothing trespasses upon your soul. You cannot see them, but you are living every day under their protection. My child, I am calling you into the life of one who knows how to lean not on others, but on me, the one who sees what is yet unformed. When you learn to rely on me, surprises will no longer unravel you. When you set your steps according to my voice, the path becomes lighter. When you trust in my protection, fear loses its resting place in your heart. And remember this, my beloved, my warnings are not signs of greater danger, they are signs of greater love. The one who loves warns. The one who cares about shields. The one who sees far leads the way. I do all these things for you because you are far more precious to me than you know. I have engraved your name on the palm of my hand, therefore, I will not allow any scheme of the wicked one to touch you without my permission. Listen to my voice as I guide you through narrow paths. Believe that every step you take carries the imprint of my hand. I am your shepherd, your light, your fortress. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are being led by the one who has seen the beginning and the end of all things. My precious child, I want to bring you into another dimension of the spiritual journey, the dimension of transition. For every stirring within your heart, every signal I place in your spirit, every whisper I speak into the quiet of your nights is not a scattered fragment. They are threads woven together like the lines upon my palm, leading you into a new season in which your protection, clarity, and discernment must become sharper than before. For those who follow my lead, there are always seasons when I call them out of what is familiar, not because that place was bad, but because it no longer suits the maturity I am forming within them. Just as Abraham was called to leave his homeland for the land I promised, you too stand at a moment of transition where true peace will only come when you choose to follow the nudge of heaven. If Abraham had stayed where he was comfortable, he would never have seen the greatness of my promise. If you remain in the place I have told you to leave, you too will miss the expansion I prepared for you. You cannot look at a new season with the eyes of an old one. There are people, places, and circumstances that once played their role in your life. But now it is time to release them, not because you despise them, but because I am taking you to a higher place where they cannot go. Some will understand, others will not. You are not responsible for explaining spiritual direction to those who do not have ears to hear. You only need to follow the voice I have placed within you. Your spiritual transition begins with ending the dangerous connections I have warned you about. Do not let your kindness become the doorway through which darkness enters. When I tell you to avoid someone who holds ill intent, it means I am severing the ties between you and a harmful influence capable of dimming your inner light. Sometimes I allow conflict not to wound you, but to open your eyes to places you must no longer remain. Remember, I never let you enter a season of silence without purpose. Spiritual silence is the bridge carrying you from an old season into a new one. In that silence, your discernment sharpens. Your intuition, stirred by my spirit, intensifies, and your spiritual sensitivity is refined. You may find yourself quieter, less inclined to engage, less drawn to conversations you once embraced. This is not loneliness, it is transition. I am pulling you away from harmful webs to place you into a new safe space, to the ground you need to grow in clarity and strength. There are disconnections that are deliverance from heaven. When I close the door to someone who has been in conflict with you, it is not so they may intimidate you. but so you will not be pulled into chaotic circumstances. When I lead you away from words that sound pleasant yet come from a heart filled with bitterness, it is healing before a deep wound has the chance to form. I never let you heal through tears when I can heal you through guidance. I see every scheme that people hide beneath layers of politeness. I see gentle words masking impure intentions. I see smiles worn like masks. But I do not want you to carry suspicion in your heart. I want you to carry wisdom. Wisdom teaches you who should be near and who should be distant. Wisdom teaches you when to stay silent and when to be decisive. Wisdom keeps you steady among faces that shift and change. The new season I am leading you into is not a season of running, but a season of standing firm, a season in which the light within you must shine brighter than the schemes around you. A season in which you must learn to recognize my presence in every decision. A season in which your steps must be gentle yet precise. A season in which your heart must remain pure of bitterness even when others attempt to plant the opposite within you. I do not want you to enter this new season with a wounded heart, but with a heart covered in peace. That peace does not come from how people treat you. It comes from knowing what I affirm and what I do not. That peace does not come from the absence of trials. It comes from knowing you stand beneath the wings of the one who can silence storms with a single word. In this season, I will show you the truth about those around you, not so you may despise or judge them, but so you may guard your soul. I will reveal who truly stands beside you, because I placed them there to strengthen you. I will also reveal who comes only to receive, not to give. I will show you who can walk with you into the future, and who belongs only to a chapter that has ended. But first, I want you to believe that every movement in your life, right now, carries my hand behind it. Nothing happens without meaning. No encounter passes without leaving an imprint. No separation happens without purpose. I arrange all things to keep you safe, to mature you, and to make you strong. Remain in the light I give. Keep your heart soft, but your mind discerning. Step out of danger without looking back. Let me clear the path ahead of you. And when you enter your new season, you will see that every distancing, every warning, every separation I instructed was a brick laid in the shelter I prepared for you long before this moment. My beloved child, when I close a door, it is not loss, it is redemption. You have been taught much about entering, but few have taught you that sometimes the greatest act of courage before heaven is stepping away. And in this season of transition, the spiritual art you must learn most deeply is the art of stepping out, the art of releasing what I placed in your life only for a temporary stretch of the journey. Do you know why some relationships cannot return to what they once were, no matter how hard you try? It is not because you lack goodwill, but because their time has passed. You cannot cling to something after I have withdrawn the breath of purpose from it. When something no longer contributes to your growth and peace, I will make it loose in your hands. I will make you uneasy when you try to remain close. I will make their words no longer reach your heart. Do not see these signs as breaking, they are sacred separation. People often believe that strong relationships are the ones that last long. But my child, some bonds are permitted only for a brief season. Their purpose is not to stay, but to teach, or to prepare the soil of your heart for something I am about to do. Just as the vine must be pruned to bear new fruit, your soul must be pruned, so its strength is not drained by what no longer belongs to you. When I lead you out of a situation, I will make peace hard to find if you try to stay. Peace is your spiritual compass. If peace leaves, listen. It is not a strange thing, it is the sign I give to show you that you are stepping outside the cover I designed for you. Let peace guide your decisions. For my peace is not like the world's peace. It is not shaped by circumstances, manipulated by words, or swayed by faces. It is a stream of light within you. And when that light dims, pay attention. Something is shifting beyond your sight. There are times you wonder why someone who once felt close now feels distant. Why their words exhaust you. Why their energy no longer resonates. You do not realize that I am the one fading the bridge no longer meant to carry life. I will not allow you to be bound to connections that erode your soul. When you cling to what I have closed, you will feel drained, anxious, unsettled. But when you surrender to my leading and step away, your spirit will lift as though an invisible weight has been removed. Not every closeness is sanctioned by heaven. Some people come only to learn something from you and then they must go. Some I send you to uplift for a time. And when they heal, they will naturally leave your life. Some are bridges carrying you to another place. And when their role is complete, they must be left behind. Do not cling to them simply because you are accustomed to their presence. A bridge is not a destination, and you were not created to live upon the bridge forever. When I tell you to walk away from someone, do not think I am blaming them or condemning them. I am simply shielding you from what they cannot yet govern within themselves. Some carry pain that has never been healed. Some are driven by a quiet undercurrent of envy. Some are wounded to the point that they cannot see the goodness in you without feeling threatened by it. I see these things, and I do not allow them to weigh upon your soul. I know your heart is wide open. That is precisely why I must protect it. Your heart is made of sacred substance, soft toward what is good, moved by what is beautiful, vulnerable when darkness draws near. I do not permit that holy space to be pierced by poisonous words or shadowed intentions. So I place an invisible boundary around you, and anyone who steps toward you with an impure motive will cause your peace to withdraw. That is not oversensitivity, it is a spiritual signal. Distance does not always come with tears. Sometimes distance is an act of self-love in the way I teach. Sometimes distance is the declaration I choose the peace of God over the turmoil of people. And sometimes distance opens the door for me to enter and heal the deep layers you did not know were wounded. I never take anything from you without having something better to give. If I close a door, it is because what lies behind it no longer serves your mission, your future, or your soul. I never remove to leave empty space. I remove to make room. And that room, if you do not fill it with what harms you, I will fill with something good you have never imagined. Do not see walking away as a sign of loneliness. It is preparation. I am separating you from noise so you can hear my voice more clearly. I am pulling you away from heavy conversations so your mind can be light again. I am leading you away from dishonest faces so you can recognize whom I have ordained to stand beside you in the coming season. I never call you out of something without calling you into something more solid. In this hour, you will sense my presence more deeply, not through loud signs, but through subtle movements, the relief that comes when you leave an unfit connection, the peace returning when you step in the right direction, the clarity rising when you listen to me instead of the voices of others. Remember, the art of walking away is not running from people. It is running into my safety. When you step out of a place where darkness lingers, you step into a place where light dwells. When you withdraw from a heart filled with bitterness, you are keeping your own soul pure. When you choose discernment over naivete, you honor the heavenly wisdom I placed within you. Believe this, every step of obedience opens a new door I prepared long ago. You will meet people with pure intentions, relationships grounded in sincerity, and opportunities marked by spiritual safety. I bring you out to bring you in. I am close to opening. I separate to preserve your soul, my beloved child. Understand that every separation, every closed door, every shift I orchestrate around you is part of a spiritual purification. This is not indifferent cutting away. This is refinement long prepared to position you where you can bear lasting fruit. I never lead you through major spiritual transitions without explaining what I am doing. I want you to know that this purification not only protects you from danger but also shapes you for the glory ahead. In every spiritual journey, there comes a time when I must remove from you the invisible burdens you did not realize you were carrying. Some burdens come from the expectations of others. Some come from the fear of being misunderstood. Some come from trying to maintain peace at any cost. And some come from holding on to relationships that no longer reflect my will. You cannot carry all these into the new season. Their weight will keep you from the expansiveness I have prepared. So I purify not to make you empty, but to make you spacious. There are people who were once part of your story, but I will not allow them into the next chapter, not because they are evil, but because they no longer fit the version of you I am building. When I loosen these bonds, when I withdraw peace from those conversations, when I create distance where there once was familiarity, these are signs of purification. I do not allow chaotic energies to cling to your shoulders. You cannot rise high with wings tied to what pulls you down. This purification is like removing the dust and debris from a traveler's coat after a long journey. There are things you do not realize you have carried, old words clinging like residue to your thoughts, lingering memories that make you hesitant, wounds not fully closed that cause you to react from fear instead of peace. I see each of these marks, and I do not let them continue clouding your spiritual sight. Purification is how I stitch your soul back together, layer by layer, with my kindness. Remember that purification does not always happen through separation from others. Sometimes it happens through what I touch within you. Some of your goodness has been misused, and I must heal it. Some sacrifices you made went unseen, and I must pour oil on your weariness. Some efforts you poured into things I never asked of you, and I must free you from the disappointment that follows. Purification is a silent dialogue between me and your soul, a dialogue only you and I can understand. You once felt guilty for stepping away from people who were no longer aligned with you. I know you feared they would misunderstand you, feared they would feel abandoned, feared that your departure would wound them. But you cannot heal someone by allowing yourself to be harmed. True kindness does not require you to sacrifice your soul for relationships I have already marked as finished. When I ask you to walk away, it is not an act of rejection, it is obedience to a higher guidance. You cannot live your life according to the opinions of people. You must live according to my voice, the one who knows every ending from the beginning. I have placed before you a new path, not only safer, but wider, richer, and more purposeful. But to walk into that path, you must release what has been clouding your spiritual vision. Just as Israel had to leave Egypt before they could enter the promised land, you must leave the inner Egypt that has held you captive in fear, exhaustion, and the invisible bondage of unhealthy ties. I am leading you out of your own Egypt so I can bring you into the land of freedom. Understand this purification always precedes the opening of doors. I never open a new door when your hands are still gripping the old. I cannot bring you into a place of blessing when your heart is weighed down by connections that bear no fruit. Purification comes first not to make you feel deprived, but to prepare you to receive more. The lighter your soul becomes, the more easily my presence can rest upon you. The ones I allow to remain after purification are those who can lift your heart higher, not pull it downward. They are not threatened by your light. They are not jealous of your progress. They do not grow hostile as you step into a new season. They come as companions like Aaron and Hur, lifting Moses' hands on the mountain, strengthening him in a battle he could not fight alone. With such people, you need no defenses. Your heart can rest, for their presence carries the fragrance of heaven. I want you to understand that spiritual purification is the process of repositioning your heart in integrity and clarity. It makes you less vulnerable to the words of others, less controlled by the desire to please, and less entangled in narratives that weary your soul. Purification turns your inner life into calm waters. Anything thrown into it may sink to the bottom, but it will not stir lasting waves. What I am doing in this season is bringing you back to the wholeness I planted within you from the beginning. I am brushing off the dust of past expectations, past wounds, and past pressures, so your soul can stand upright again like an olive tree renewed, its leaves green again, its fruit returning. When you step away from unhealthy relationships, you create space for the divine connections I have prepared. When you release what no longer belongs to you, you widen your heart to receive the comfort I give. When you refuse to let others define your worth, you step deeper into the truth that you are chosen not because of merit, but because of love. I am taking you through a season of purification so that I may prepare you for a season of elevation. You will find yourself stronger, clearer, lighter. You will notice that the relationships I allow to remain are the ones that nourish your spirit. You will notice that the places I lead you carry none of the traps you once faced. And you will see that everything I removed was something that would have harmed your future had it remained. So allow the purification to do its full work. Allow me to lift from your shoulders the burdens you were never meant to carry. Allow me to lead you into the land of peace, where your life will be rebuilt in light. And when you step into the next season with a lighter soul and a purified heart, you will understand that every tear you shed in the last season was a seed blossoming into clarity in the new one. My beloved child, now I want to bring you into a season of reorientation. For the separation you just walked through was not merely to prevent harm, it was a transition meant to help you see yourself with new eyes, walk new paths, and step into the maturity I have begun to build within your soul. In this season, you will realize that the things which once intimidated you no longer hold the same power. The places where you once felt lost will now become opportunities to hear my voice more clearly. Spiritual reorientation is not like changing direction across an open field. It is not simply repositioning yourself, it is a transformation of perception, how you understand me and how you understand yourself. You cannot walk into your future carrying the mindsets of your past. And so I am removing from you old patterns of thought, fears that once bound you, and perspectives shaped by the world long before you learned to listen to me. I do not want you merely to escape danger. I want you to become clearer, stronger, deeper. Imagine yourself standing as a traveler at the border between two lands. Behind you lie the familiar roads, past encounters, past relationships, past lessons, past wounds. Ahead of you lies the land I have prepared, where my presence will be the light guiding every step you take. But to enter that land, you must be oriented according to my vision, not your own. You must learn to discern my guidance through the smallest things, an unexpected peace, a gentle stirring in your spirit, a door that opens softly, a restraint you cannot explain. This reorientation does not happen through haste, it happens through stillness. I want you to slow down, not to delay you, but to help you hear the delicate movements within your soul. Haste is born of the fear of missing out. Stillness is born of trust that I govern all timing. When you enter spiritual stillness, You will begin to notice things I placed before you long ago, but you could not see because you were moving too quickly. Reorientation is also the moment when I begin to adjust your inner life, your desires, your motivations, your hidden longings. Some things you once believed were essential will, under my light, be revealed as nothing more than clay in the potter's hands. Some things you held on to only because you feared emptiness. Reorientation begins when you are willing to release what no longer serves you. So I may place within you new desires not shaped by outside pressure, but born from the life I am awakening inside you. Look back over your journey and recognize this: every trial you endured has revealed something about you. When you were hurt, you learned to see what is genuine and what is false. When you were misunderstood, you learned to return to my voice rather than human judgment. When you were pushed into dark places, you learned to perceive my light even when your eyes could not find it. These were all fine chasings of the soul in the reorientation I am accomplishing in you now. In this season, I will lead you down paths you never imagined. You will feel a pull to move forward even when you cannot yet see the destination. You will receive confirmations, small yet powerful, from me through circumstances, through a timely word, through peace descending like a stream. I will cause your spirit to sense what I bless and what I do not. When you step in the wrong direction, peace will withdraw. When you step in the right direction, your heart will bloom with a gentleness words cannot describe. I will also test your heart, not to make you stumble, but to show you how much you have grown. I may remain silent for a short time so you learn to rely on the peace within you rather than external signs. I may allow decisions that require courage so you learn to hear my voice even without complete certainty. I do this because I trust you. Trust that you can hear. Trust that you can stand. Trust that you can move with me. Remember Joseph in the prison. It seemed every door shut before him. Yet each door was guiding him toward the place I intended. Sometimes my reorientation begins with closed doors and ends with a great door swinging open before you, one you never expected. And when it opens, you will know you did not bring yourself there. I placed every step beneath your feet. Do not forget you are not entering this reorientation alone. My angels still walk with you. My spirit still dwells within you. My wisdom still directs you, and my love still surrounds you like an unshakable fortress. The only thing I ask of you in this season is softness, a heart soft enough to hear, to respond, to adjust, to let go, and to follow me step by step. As you walk through this reorientation, you will understand that nothing from your past was wasted. Not one tear was meaningless. Not one dark day was without purpose. All of it became rich soil for the new seeds I am planting within you. And when the new season blossoms, you will understand that this reorientation was my gift to you, the gift that positions you in a place you never imagined you could stand, stepping into things you never dared to pray for. Let me redirect your steps. Let me rewrite the next pages. Let me place you in the exact position at the exact time I have appointed. The more you yield, the higher you will soar. The more you trust, the clearer you will see. The more you walk with me, the more you will discover that you never lose anything when you are in my hands. My beloved child, I never lead you into a place I have not already prepared for you. Behind every movement in your life, behind every separation, every closing of a door, every shift of season, there is a divine preparation, so meticulous that not a single detail is overlooked. You think you are changing direction, but in truth you are only stepping into what I designed long before the thought ever entered your mind. I know there are quiet questions in your heart. Why is everything being shaken? Why must I distance myself from this person? Why did that door close? Why do I no longer feel at home in a place that once felt familiar, but you do not yet see? That this shaking is the very method I use to pull you out of places whose time has expired. If I do not stir the ground beneath you, you would remain where you are. If I do not withdraw peace from what does not belong to you, you would continue clinging to it. And if you keep holding on to what is old, you will have no space for what I desire to give. Like a potter who spins the wheel to shape the clay, I allow change so you may be formed into a new vessel, not to hurt you, but to beautify you, not to make you lose direction, but to soften you so you may be shaped, not to destroy what you cherish, but to remove what would crack under the weight of the glory I will pour into you. Remember, my preparation rarely reveals itself at the same time my instruction does. When I told Abraham to leave his homeland, he did not yet see the promised land. When I told Moses to lead my people out of Egypt, the sea had not yet parted. When I sent Samuel to anoint David, the throne was still held by another. When I speak to you of change, you also will not see what I have prepared. This is how I deepen your faith, so you may walk by my leading, not by sight. In this season of preparation, there are things I must realign within you, so you may be strong enough to step into new territory. First, you must learn steadfast faith, the kind that does not waver simply because no external sign has appeared. For many blessings do not come to those who hesitate. They come to those who stand firm even before the dawn breaks. Second, you must detach yourself from the expectations of others, for you cannot enter what I have appointed for you if your heart is still governed by opinions around you. Third, you must learn to recognize my presence in the smallest things, for my voice often comes as a gentle breath, not as thunder. My preparation usually works in silence. When you sleep, I arrange things. When you slow down, I open pathways. When you do not understand, I am aligning the pieces. When you cry, I collect those tears to water the ground you are about to walk on. You think you are paused, but I am accelerating what lies ahead. You think you are isolated, but I am removing noise so you may hear me clearly. Remember Elijah in the wilderness. After the wind, after the earthquake, after the fire, he discovered I was not in the noise. I came to him in a gentle whisper. You are the same. My child, when everything around you grows quiet, it is not because I have stepped away. It is because I am speaking the deepest things. My silence is not absence. It is an invitation to intimacy. In this preparation, I will also clear away unseen obstacles. Some are within you: fear of loss, the feeling of inadequacy, or memories that still carry pain. Some are people who cannot accompany you into the future. Some are false opportunities, things that look good but do not come from me. I will extinguish the desire for imitation paths, so you will not wander from what I have ordained. You cannot enter new territory with an old mindset. If I have brought you out of Egypt, you must not carry Egypt within your heart. If I have delivered you from relationships that wounded you, you must not return out of pity. If I have shut a door, you must not knock on it again. You cannot move forward while looking backward with regret. Do you know why I prepare you so thoroughly? Because a great blessing always carries great responsibility. Because a large door attracts great resistance. Because a new position requires new vision. The enemy fears what I am preparing for you, and so he attempts to drain your strength before you reach it. But he cannot win when you listen to me. He cannot touch you when you remain under my cover. He cannot tear down what I build. He cannot shut the door I open. and he cannot stop you from entering what I have destined. I am preparing new relationships for you, people who will lift your heart rather than break your wings. I am preparing opportunities you never dared to dream of. I am preparing territories where you will stand firm like a deeply rooted tree. I am preparing for you a stronger voice, a clearer confidence, and a peace deeper than any storm. In this season, I want you to focus on 3 things. First, keep your heart soft. My preparation cannot be completed in a heart hardened by doubt. Second, walk in peace. Peace is the strongest indicator of my direction. Third, be ready to let go. You cannot carry the old into the territory of the new. This preparation is the cradle of the blessing to come. It is like the clay that must be fired before it can hold oil, like the soil that must be plowed before seed can be sown, like the wine cellar that must remain still for the wine to mature. You are the same. You are being made ready to receive more than you ever imagined. Trust me, for I have never begun anything I do not finish. Hold fast to me, for this preparation will lead you into things you never dared to pray for. My beloved child, now that the work of preparation is nearing completion within you, I want to lead you into a deeper truth, the truth of inner transformation. For outward redirection is only the beginning. What I truly desire to accomplish lies within you, where motives, thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are formed. Inner transformation is not loud nor dramatic, yet it produces the greatest shifts in your life. And it is this very transformation that will keep you standing when you step into the territory I have prepared for you. There are seasons in which I do not change your circumstances immediately, because I am changing you first. I want your heart stronger, deeper, more discerning, not easily swayed by the words, attitudes, or glances of others. I want you to be like a great tree. Winds may roar, storms may strike, yet you remain unshaken. You cannot stand in the coming storm if your inner foundation remains fragile. This inner transformation is my silent craftsmanship. I touch places you have never allowed anyone else to touch. I illuminate layers you forgot existed. I heal deep chambers you assumed were already whole, though they still ached quietly. I dismantle old mindsets that have limited you. I burn away fears rooted in memories. I cut invisible cords that you never realized were binding you. This transformation is like underground water that quietly brings a forest back to life. You cannot see it flowing, yet everything thrives because of it. The first thing I desire to transform in you is the way you see yourself. For too long, you have allowed the experiences, words, and actions of others to define your worth. You allowed their eyes to determine whether you were enough. You allowed their rejection to carve wounds into your soul. But I say to you, no one has the authority to price your soul except me, the one who formed you in everlasting love. I want you to see yourself not through the distorted mirror of human judgment, but through the mirror of heavenly truth. Know this: someone's abandonment is not a verdict on your value, it is a revelation of their heart. Their silence is not a lowering of your worth, it simply means they cannot follow you into the next season. Their coldness is not proof that you lack something, it is proof of their limitation. When I lead you out of the opinions of men, it is so you may learn your worth through my eyes, where no wound of the past can dim the light I placed within you. Once, when things shifted, you panicked. When circumstances changed, you trembled. When conflict arose, you blamed yourself. But in the new season, I desire for you a peace that cannot be moved. This peace does not come from the absence of challenges, but from knowing who walks with you. You will no longer be led by emotion, but by guidance. You will no longer let fear lead. You will let my light direct your steps. I want you to learn what Israel learned at the Red Sea. Sometimes you must stand still to see the salvation I perform. The more you try to fight in your own strength, the more weary you become. But when you stand in trust, I will act. Some battles must be handed to me, for I myself will fight for you. You were not born to face everything alone. You were created to walk under heavenly assistance. The third thing I desire to transform is your ability to remain focused on the purpose I placed within you. Besides obvious dangers, there are subtle distractions. They can come through empty conversations, through people who pull you into their emotional turmoil, through trivial things that drain your time, through temptations wrapped in ordinary appearances. I want you to learn not to be scattered by things that carry no life. Remember, every person is born with a purpose, but not everyone fulfills it, not because they lack opportunity, but because they allow themselves to be entangled in relationships, fears, and expectations I never assigned to them. I do not want you to repeat that tragedy. You are called to walk in clarity, to know which path is mine and which path is not. This transformation will make your inner being shine like gold refined in fire. No more dust of doubt. No more fragments of old memories cutting into you. No more cords pulling your head low. I am raising you as a warrior of peace, one who carries strength without harshness, kindness without being exploited, discernment without emotional distortion. In this season, you will notice your reactions changing. You will notice your heart no longer trembling at unkind words. Your inner calm will no longer depend on someone's mood. You will realize you do not need to prove yourself anymore. You only need to stand where I placed you. You will know that your worth is neither built by praise nor diminished by criticism. It is anchored in the eternal truth that you belong to me. My child, inner transformation will also reveal how I am using your life to influence the world around you. Each time you refuse what is unhealthy, you diminish a measure of darkness. Each time you keep your heart pure, you create space for light to expand. Each time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you break the enemy's power over your journey. Each time you listen to my voice rather than the noise of the world, you step closer to the purpose I ordained. Let me continue this transformation, for everything I am shaping within you now is preparing you for the road ahead. You will need this resilience to walk through the great doors I am about to open. You will need this clarity to recognize those I send to you. You will need this peace to remain steady in the trials that cannot be avoided. You will need this new heart to receive the greater spiritual assignment I am placing into your hands. Allow me to mend what has worn thin. Allow me to place in you strengths you've never known. Allow me to cleanse the hidden corners you feared to open. And when this transformation is complete, you will walk as one renewed, with a light no darkness can extinguish, a peace nothing can steal, and a confidence nothing can shake. And when you look back, you will see that every trial, every separation, every preparation, every silence was not meaningless. They were the foundation stones of the spiritual house I am building within you, a house that will stand firm through every storm. Beloved child, after you have walked through the seasons of reorientation and inner transformation, I desire to reveal to you an essential dimension of the spiritual journey, the art of standing firm in the midst of trials. For there is no season of growth without adversity, and no true strength is ever forged in ease. I know your soul has endured many upheavals, losses, and moments when you no longer knew what to hold on to. Yet it was in those very moments that I laid a new foundation within you. Now I want you to recognize the value of those pathways, to understand that every trial carries meaning. Every pain bears the seed of purification, and every stumble can become a stepping stone toward places you have never dared to walk. There were times when you asked, "Why do hardships find me? Why must I bear what others do not?" But you did not see that through those very trials. I was shaping within you a rare kind of strength, one not born of human willpower but drawn from my companionship, a strength not rooted in control but in surrender, a strength found not in triumphing over others but in conquering your own inner battles. You believed you had endured too much. Yet I tell you, those experiences have opened the way for a new version of yourself, one even you have not yet named. Remember, trials do not come to break you. They come to awaken you to deeper awareness. When you walk through seasons where everything flows smoothly, discernment grows complacent and the heart becomes careless. But when you journey across landscapes marked by testing, your spiritual eyes open wider. Your ears become attentive. Your heart grows tender and perceptive. You begin to recognize every voice that is not mine, every emotion not born of my spirit, every doorway that shines with false light, and every step that does not spring from peace. Such capacities only emerge in those who have endured the tremors of life. Trials are also the place where I separate your soul from its dependence on the approval of others. When you are misunderstood, you learn to return to my voice. When you are rejected, you learn to stand in my acceptance. When someone fails to see your worth, you learn to see yourself through the mirror of heaven. You become sharper in truth, steadier against deception, and more mature amid the storms that once seemed insurmountable. This is the maturity born through trials, not numbness, but depth. I do not expect you to overcome your own strength. I am your source. I do not send you into danger and then watch from afar. I walk with you without turning away. I do not let you face darkness without fire, nor enter a land of hidden blades without covering. My presence is the invisible wall around you. My angels go before you. My glory forms a fortress behind you. You are never alone in any battle, even when you think you are. Understand this: the enemy only attacks what is moving forward. If you stand still, he pays no attention. But when you begin to follow my lead, when you break away from what once bound you, when you choose light over shadow, when you cultivate the strength I am forming within, he sees that you are becoming a threat. The turmoil stirring in others against you, the strange words, the cold attitudes, the closed doors, these are not signs of failure. They are evidence that you are walking in the right direction. Do not let trials convince you that I have withdrawn. On the contrary, trials testify that I am working powerfully in your life. My silence in seasons of testing is not absence. It is the moment I teach you to recognize me through the peace within rather than through outward signs. Like a father standing close to a child learning to walk, allowing silence so the child may find balance. So I remain near, not abandoning you, but teaching you to stand on spiritual legs of your own. The art of standing firm is not about reacting to every blow. It is knowing which battles require response, which require silence, which require distance, and which must be surrendered to me. You were not created to fight every war. You were created to fight the right ones. And your true battle is not against flesh and blood, but against thoughts, emotions, fears, and deceptions that have long sought to take root in your soul. When you stand in truth, everything else diminishes. Learn this: steadfastness is not hardness, but surrender. You do not grow strong by building walls, but by allowing me to guide you every step. The hardened heart must defend itself and always feels alone. The surrendered heart lives under my protection and never lacks shelter. I want you to be tender, not weak, but one who knows that true strength flows from the heavenly, not from personal effort. Trials are also the classroom where I teach you to walk in peace despite circumstances. True peace does not arise because everything is perfect. It comes when you know my hand is holding yours. When you trust me, burdens no longer feel impossible, and the path no longer seems dark. When you follow me, you will see light unfold gradually, like one walking through mist, unable to see the whole road but always seeing enough for the next step. My protection does not merely shield you from harm, it positions you in the right time and the right door. There are places you are not meant to go, and I close them. There are people you are not meant to meet, and I redirect you. There are enticing paths from which I withdraw your peace, so you will not be deceived. And there are seasons of waiting that seem like delay, when in truth I am clearing what lies ahead, so you may enter without being wounded. My protection is not an escape from reality, it is my companionship within it. I do not promise to erase all trials, but I promise that no trial will defeat you. I do not promise you will never face what frightens you, but I promise fear will not rule you. I do not promise you will never encounter those with ill intent, but I promise that their schemes cannot touch your soul when you remain in my hand. Stand firm. Let peace be your shoes, truth your belt, faith your shield, wisdom your sword. When you stand clothed in what I give you, the storms that once shook you will only strengthen you. The words that once wounded you will lose their power. The schemes that once frightened you will become reminders that you are moving according to my will. Lift your head. What you are facing is not the sign of decline, but the evidence of elevation. And I, your shepherd, walk before you, clearing the path, turning the tides, and shielding you from what you cannot yet see. My beloved child, as you are learning the art of standing firm in the midst of trials, I want to open before you a deeper truth that there are battles unfolding around you which no human eye can ever see. They are not confrontations made of words, nor visible conflicts you can point to. They are silent movements, hidden intentions, and currents of dark energy seeking a way to enter your spirit. And right there, in the unseen places where no one is watching, I am fighting for you with a power far beyond human understanding. You have felt an exhaustion without reason, a heaviness lingering in a room, an unexplainable unease when standing near someone who has not spoken a harmful word. You have felt peace leaving your heart like a bird too swift to hold. You thought these were emotional shifts, but they were spiritual reactions, responses to battles taking place around you. You could not see them, but your spirit perceived them, and that very perception was the sign that I was shielding you from unseen assaults. My child, not every harmful intention begins with harsh words. There are dark thoughts that rise within hearts still wounded, thoughts whose origin even the person carrying them cannot trace. When jealousy springs up in a soul not yet healed, it becomes a doorway through which darkness seeps. When bitterness burns for too long, it becomes an invisible spear thrust through a glance, a tone, or the smallest action. And even when no sound is made, your spirit will sense the disturbance. You have known these moments when merely standing beside someone unsettles your heart, when stepping into a place suddenly feels suffocating, when a kind word reaches your ears but your soul recoils as if warned. That is the discernment I planted within you. Do not dismiss it. Do not assume you are overly sensitive. It is the bell I ring to alert you that you are standing near an energy that is not from me. In these invisible battles, you do not need force, nor must you argue your worth to anyone. Your battle is not fought with lips or logic, It is fought from your spiritual position. When you stand in the right place, the place covered by my light, darkness cannot touch you. It may attempt to interfere, but it cannot destroy. It may cause others to misunderstand you, but it cannot diminish you. It may try to scheme, but it cannot override my boundless protection. My protection is not a silent wall. It is a living force, moving around you like a ring of fire. When someone harbors harmful intent, my angels place themselves between you and that intention. When someone attempts to place pressure on your spirit, my spirit stirs discernment within you so you step back. When an invisible arrow is launched from hatred or envy, I bend its path before it reaches you. Remember this, no human words can break you when I am the one who defines you. No attitude can diminish your worth when your value is sealed in eternity. No scheme of the enemy can cause you to stumble when you stand in my light. And no darkness can suffocate your spirit when I have marked you with life. There will be moments when you find yourself drawn into situations you never sought, not because you caused them, but because you carry light. Light always disrupts darkness. Those who bear light inevitably stir dormant shadows within others. Confusion, criticism, anger, jealousy. These may surface not because you are wrong, but because the light in you exposes what others do not want to face. Do not fear. Do not assume you have erred. Do not reshape yourself to soothe someone else's discomfort. Light never apologizes for shining. When your heart feels tense under pressures you cannot name, I want you to pause and breathe within my presence. There will be times when you cannot explain why you feel heavy, when you cannot identify the conflict rising around you, but I know, and I will place my peace upon you like cool waters calming a flame. I will cover you with the power to remain still in a land full of turbulence. This is my gift to those who belong to me, a peace untouched by circumstances, unshaken by external forces, unstealable by human words. Understand this, not every confrontation belongs to you. Some battles are mine. Some I take upon myself so completely that you never need to enter them. There are schemes I break before they form, bitter words I cause to dissolve before they are spoken. Harmful intentions I disperse before they become action, and you will never know they existed, because I stop them at their source. What you see is only the surface. What I handle for you is the depth. If you knew all that I have intercepted on your behalf, you would bow in worship, understanding that my protection is far greater than you ever imagined. There will be days when the invisible pressures drain you, when your mind feels tired and your spirit worn. You think you are weakening, but I tell you, this is the moment of your renewal. Weariness is not failure. It is the sign that you need to rest in me. When you drink again from my living water, you will feel strength returning, like an eagle rising into the heights. Do not look at the intensity of the battle and fear. Look at the one who stands with you. You will see that darkness is never stronger than light, that the enemy's schemes are never sharper than my wisdom, and that human opposition is never greater than the protection I place around you. You need only one thing: stand in the light. Let my peace be your armor. Let my truth be your foundation. Let your faith be the spear that leads your steps. Let my wisdom be your eyes. Let my love be the walls surrounding you. Then the invisible battles will no longer shake you. You will walk as one who knows they are held, protected, and sheltered by the one whose power stands above all powers, my beloved child. Now I want you to learn how to walk as one who is covered, not with worry, not with timidity, and not with doubt, but with the steady posture of someone who knows you belong to the Almighty. and no opposing force has the power to disrupt the heavenly plan unfolding over your life. Know this: the one who is covered is not the one who never faces trials, but the one who is never defeated by them. The one who is covered is not the one who has no enemies, but the one whose enemies cannot touch the soul. The one who is covered is not the one who escapes every adversity, but the one who walks through adversity with a peace no one can steal. When I overshadow you with my wings, you are not only safe, you are given authority to tread on paths where others must move cautiously. It is my presence that turns dark places into roads, sharp swords into cooled ashes, and wicked schemes into stepping stones for your growth, my child. I want you to understand that my covering is not an umbrella that opens only when the rain comes. It is the vast sky stretched over you at all times. Your eyes cannot see it, but mine are watching every step you take. Your ears cannot hear it, but my angels whisper around you, warning you at each turn, clearing obstacles, and raising invisible walls that keep evil from touching you. There were moments when you believed you escaped danger by chance, but in truth it was my hand pulling you out from a collapsing place just before it fell. Do you remember the moments when you planned to go one way but suddenly changed direction? Do you remember when you were about to speak, yet a gentle prompting caused you to keep silent? Do you recall wanting to meet someone, only for your peace to withdraw without explanation? These things were not coincidences. They were my cover. I protect you not only by stopping danger, but by guiding you toward the places where blessing awaits you. One who is covered does not need to flee from darkness. They only need to stand in the light. When you stand in my light, your presence becomes a declaration against the darkness. It halts evil intentions. It dissolves curses in the air. It causes those controlled by darkness to feel unrest without knowing why. You do not need to defend yourself with loud words. The light within you is already the strongest barrier. But I also want you to know that my covering is not only to keep you safe, it is to position you as a witness of my goodness. Those who see you walk through trials without being crushed will recognize that someone is holding you. Those who watch you stand firm when you should have fallen will marvel at a strength that does not come from you. Those who observe how you love in loveless places, how you remain peaceful in chaos, how you keep your heart soft even after being wounded, they will know this is not human effort. This is the mark of heaven. On this journey, true power is not shown through display, but through calmness. The weak must shout, the strong only stand. When you stand still in me, darkness trembles. When you choose silence at the right moment, wisdom speaks on your behalf. When you refuse to respond with anger, the schemes formed against you collapse under their own weight. When you decline to enter battlegrounds of argument, you step into the territory of peace where I fight for you. The steadfastness I am building in you is not only for your own stability, but so that you may become a refuge for those I will place in your life. There are people who are weary, broken, afraid, and I will lead them near you, not for you to carry their burdens, but for the light within you to guide them back to the path. You will become a pillar of fire, as I once gave to Israel, guiding through the night. Warm yet mighty, unmoved by the desert winds, my child. The covering I place over you also means I am lifting you into a new level of influence. You will carry the atmosphere of heaven into places that lack life. Your presence will shift the environment. Conversations filled with tension will soften when you enter. Plans formed against you will dissolve before they are completed. Harmful words will lose their force when aimed at you. This is not because you possess extraordinary ability, but because I am covering you with my power. Do not think my covering makes you passive. On the contrary, it makes you freer than ever. When you know the enemy cannot touch your soul, you no longer fear failure. When you know human schemes cannot destroy the plan I have drawn for you, you no longer fear abandonment. When you know my light in you is stronger than any harsh accusation, you no longer fear misunderstanding. True freedom does not come from the absence of danger, but from knowing every danger is under my authority. Continue walking forward. Do not shrink back. Do not hide your light simply because others are uncomfortable with it. Do not narrow your vision because someone prefers you small. Do not bow your head when I have placed a crown upon you. You were not born to run away. You were born to stand firm. You were not born to blend into the darkness. You were born to shine. And when you walk in this posture, the posture of one who knows they are covered, held, and surrounded by the Creator, you will see that though the enemy prowls, he cannot come near. Though schemes are crafted, they cannot be completed. Though trials arise, they cannot defeat you. I go before you. I stand behind you. I am on your right. I am on your left. I surround you completely. There is no gap in my protection. You do not walk in chance. You walk in providence. You do not live by guessing. You live by guidance. And you do not fight alone. You fight in the arms of the one who never fails. My beloved child, I will lead you into a season of deep restoration, for it has not only been external dangers that once shook you, there are also wounds within you, wounds you have carried for many years, even across many seasons. Wounds no one else sees. Yet I see them all, and I never allow such wounds to exist without purpose. I do not let them become marks of failure. I use them as the raw material for divine transformation. Some wounds came from those you trusted. Some came from words that seemed careless but pierced deeply. Some came from expectations that were never met, from silence that was never explained, from indifference that chilled your soul. You forced a smile while your heart was heavy. You have kept peace on the outside while breaking inside. You have told yourself things were over, though parts of you remained unhealed. I see the cuts of disappointment, the scars of betrayal, the impressions left by long loneliness. I do not stand at a distance watching. I step into the very place where you are weakest, where you tremble most, where you hide most carefully, and I touch it with a gentleness beyond compare. True restoration does not begin with your effort. It begins with my presence. Many believe that strength means not crying, not breaking, not allowing anyone to see their pain. But I say to you, true strength begins when you dare to let me heal what you have tried to hide. When you allow me to open the layers of memory you thought were locked away, you will see that I do not come to add to your pain, but to free you from it forever. The restoration I bring is unlike the way humans repair things. Humans try to piece broken fragments together so they resemble their original form. But I do not do that. I make all things new. I do not return you to who you once were. I form you into someone who has never existed before. What was wounded will not only be healed, it will become the place where strength flows. What once made you weep will become testimony of my kindness. What once weighed heavily upon your soul will become the platform from which you step into the purpose I have designed for you. There are pains I allow not to destroy you, but to open you to deeper healing. Just as when I allowed Joseph to walk through the betrayal of his brothers, not so he would be forgotten, but so he would become the one who carried life for an entire nation. Restoration is never a return to what was. It is an elevation into what I intended all along. A place from which you can look back and recognize that every hardship you feared was actually a foundation stone for something far more glorious. When I heal you, I do not rush. I heal with wisdom. Some areas I address first, others I reserve for later so that you may learn what you need to learn. There are moments when I allow you to confront emotions you have avoided for so long, so that you may finally recognize their roots. I do not heal the surface, I heal the depths. And I do so with such gentleness that you will one day look at yourself in wonder and say, "How is it that this pain no longer makes me tremble?" The journey of restoration is also the journey in which I teach you to see others with the eyes of wisdom. Not everyone knows how to love. Not everyone knows how to keep their word. Not everyone knows how to honor the purity of your heart. I am teaching you how to love without lowering yourself. How to give without being drained. How to open your heart while still guarding your spiritual boundaries. Restoration is not only mending wounds, it is building healthy walls so that you will not be hurt in the same ways again. There are people who hurt you, and you fear that forgiving them means surrendering justice. But I tell you, this forgiveness is not their release, it is yours. When you forgive, you cut the chain that ties your soul to decaying memories. You open the door for my peace to flow in. You are no longer bound by what others have done. You walk free. You walk light. You no longer carry invisible stones in your chest. But forgiveness does not mean restoring them to their former place. Forgiveness does not mean allowing them to hurt you again. Forgiveness is an internal act. Trust is something entirely different. The restoration I bring always comes with discernment. You are no longer naive. You will no longer let your heart bleed in familiar patterns. You will love with mature love, not blind love. The restoration I give will touch not only your soul but every practical area of your life. I will restore the joy that was lost. I will rebuild dreams you believed had died. I will give back the laughter you have not heard from yourself in so long. I will replace heavy anxieties with the gentleness of my spirit. I will restore the confidence that criticism once stole from you. I will set you standing in places where others expect you to fall forever. My child, these are not empty comforts. These are my declarations, the words of the one who has never spoken without fulfilling. The restoration I give is not temporary, it is enduring. It does not depend on circumstances, it depends on my presence in you. And my presence never leaves. You may walk through fire, but you will not be burned. You may walk through water, but you will not drown. You may walk through darkness, but it will not consume you. For I, the restorer of all things, am walking right beside you. Let me heal the places you fear to open. Let me soothe what you have forgotten. Let me rebuild what has been broken within you. And when I complete my work, you will not merely be healed, you will be renewed, brighter, stronger, gentler, deeper, my beloved child. As the old dust begins to fall from your soul, and my light shines again upon the places you once thought were dead, I want you to understand something deeper. I have not come only to heal the shattered pieces that once confused you. I have come to reshape your identity according to my original intention. There are parts of you that have been distorted by the words of others, wounded by assumptions you unknowingly embraced, or clouded by years spent trying to live according to others' expectations. But my child, now is the time for me to return your soul to its rightful place. When my hand rests upon your life, I never apply temporary fixes, I restore from the root. And to do that, I lead you through a journey that touches the deepest layers of who you are, where your thoughts, motives, and desires are being reconstructed by my very presence. My child, there are things you thought you understood about yourself, but in truth they were merely reflections of fear or of painful experiences from your past. Those distorted images caused you to diminish your own worth, convincing you that you were weaker, smaller, or unworthy of what I had prepared for you. But I say to you today, you no longer have to live under those false impressions. I did not create you to live in anxiety, nor did I design you to blend into the noise of the world. I created you to walk in a confidence born from the knowledge that you belong to me, that you are covered by my unchanging love, and that your voice carries weight in the spiritual realm. When I declare that you are light, no darkness has the authority to define you. When I call you the salt of the earth, no criticism has the right to make you fade. Micah 7:8 says, "Though I fall, I will arise, though I sit in darkness. The Lord will be my light." You see, even when you once fell, I always saw you as the one who would rise. In recent seasons, you have battled thoughts that weighed your heart down. Am I enough? Am I truly loved? Am I still seen by God? But my child, when my eyes are upon you, no accusation of the enemy can hide you from me. The storms that left you breathless cannot make me change my mind about you. You are a work being shaped by my hands, and I never abandon the work I begin. I want you to step out of the old season with the awareness that you are no longer guided by human assumptions, but by the wisdom I am planting within you. I want you to distinguish my voice from the echoes of your past. When you learn this, you will walk with peace that cannot be stolen, with clarity that cannot be shaken, and with freedom that no chain can bind. As I rebuild your soul, I am opening up a new way of living where you no longer react from old patterns. You will no longer be easily wounded by careless words, because you know to whom you belong. You will no longer blame yourself when people walk away, because you understand that I arrange and remove relationships in your life. You will no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone, because you have learned to live from my affirmation. What I am cultivating in you is spiritual maturity, not hardness, but stability, not guarded suspicion, but discernment, not shrinking back, but freedom in my light. As I lead you into this new maturity, you will find your heart becoming lighter, not because everything around you is calm, but because you have learned how to stand firm even when strong winds blow. You will find yourself forgiving easily, not because others deserve it, but because you have been freed from old burdens. You will be amazed that you can love without losing yourself, give without becoming drained, rise without feeling guilty. All these things are the result of my reshaping your heart, teaching you to live by the rhythm of heaven rather than the demands of the world. This reconstruction is not only for the areas you recognize, but also for the ones you never dared to touch. I will reshape the way you see the future, so you no longer walk with fear of failure, but with expectation of goodness. I will adjust the way you see others, so you will no longer confuse compassion with blind tolerance. I will transform the way you see yourself, so you may see as I see, pure, valuable, purposeful, and with a place in the great plan I have ordained. My child, when you see yourself as I see you, the things that once made you tremble will lose their power. The criticisms that once crushed you will become mere noise. The old memories that once tied you to guilt or insecurity will become evidence of my intervention and rescue. Here is the truth. I want you to engrave on your heart, the reconstruction I am doing is not so that you may live better, but so that you may live right identity, right purpose, right spiritual position. You are not the product of circumstances. You are a creation shaped by my hands. You are not the sum of what others have said. You are the reflection of what I have spoken. You are not a victim of your past. You are a witness of divine intervention. You will begin to notice a quiet but profound shift. You will no longer fear when a door closes, because you know I close it to protect you. You will no longer cling desperately to what is leaving, because you know I remove it to prepare the new. You will no longer rush after what you want, because you have learned to wait for me. And when you wait for me, you do not wait with anxiety, but with trust. That trust will be the foundation by which you step into the new season with steady feet and an unafraid heart. I am training you not just to survive, but to stand, to grow, to become a living reflection of my light in a trembling world. You are maturing in ways you never expected. You are being refined to carry a peace no one can steal. You are being shaped to speak with weight where truth is needed. You are being given wisdom you never knew you had, and you will enter seasons you once lacked the strength to enter. My child, all of this is happening not because you are strong, but because I am strong within you, not because you know the way, but because I am leading you, not because you deserve it, but because my love never grows weary. My beloved child, the deepest healing does not come from the disappearance of old pain, but from seeing it through a heart that has been renewed. The memories you wish to bury do not need to be erased. They simply need to be put back in the right place under the light of truth. No longer holding authority over your reactions and decisions. There are things you thought were closed, yet they still live in the subconscious, causing you to doubt yourself, doubt others, and at times even doubt my love. Today, I want to touch those hidden corners not to hurt you further, but so that, for the first time, you may see clearly you were never abandoned. I was always there, even when you collapsed and thought everything had ended. Do not fear when my light shines on the things you least want to face. My light does not come to accuse or condemn. My light comes to set free. When you look back at the burdens that once crushed you, you will see that they no longer hold the power they once did. Part of healing is learning to name the truth, naming the pain accurately, the cause accurately, the wound accurately, the deep inner motive accurately. Only when you see honestly can you release honestly. Nothing in spiritual life is healed while it remains hidden. What is concealed will continue to bleed. What is brought to the light will begin to mend. And I want you to understand that healing is not something you must accomplish alone. You need only let me lead you, step by step, like a father guiding his child through unfamiliar ground. Many try to heal by trying to forget or trying to be strong. But true strength does not come from avoidance. True strength comes from meeting me in the places where you are most tender. When you stand before me in truth, you are not diminished, you are upheld. When you admit you are hurt, you are not weak. You are giving me access to the place only I can renew. And when you dare to name the disappointment that once tightened your throat, you are opening the door to a freedom you have never known. My child, I did not create you to live with secret burdens, with a fractured soul, or with a heart always forced to protect itself behind unseen walls. You were created to live openly, to live safe, to live with the trust of a child who knows they will never be abandoned. There are old habits so deeply ingrained that you thought they were part of your nature, but in truth, they are only reactions formed from old wounds, defenses, fears of being hurt again, ways you learned to survive when you did not know you could take refuge in me. Now, you no longer need those defenses. I will remove them layer by layer so that you no longer have to live guarded, no longer have to brace yourself against anyone who steps into your life. You will learn to discern without being defensive, to love without losing yourself, to trust without being blind. That is what spiritual maturity looks like. It does not make you cold, but makes you wise. It does not make you avoid relationships, but helps you enter them with health, freedom, and peace. For years, you have lived under misplaced judgments, the judgments of others, of circumstances, and at times even the harsh judgments you directed at yourself. But I want you to hear another word, another voice, my voice. You are not the sum of the things that have happened to you. You are not the result of your failures. You are not the product of seasons of rejection, nor are you defined by the times you lost your sense of direction. You are the word spoken from my own mouth, the masterpiece shaped by my perfect knowledge and love. When I call you, my beloved, it is not a comfort phrase. It is a reality that exists in the spiritual realm and in your true identity. And when you learn to see yourself through my eyes, the things that once filled you with shame will lose their grip. Regret will become lessons. Mistakes will become the foundation of new wisdom. Broken relationships will become gateways for you to recognize the value of the connections I truly ordain. Nothing in your journey is wasted when placed in my hands. Everything that has happened can become material for me to build you stronger, wiser, and more mature. If you know you are in my hands, you will no longer fear what you have been through, nor what is to come. Let me tell you, this healing does not happen only when you feel relief. True healing happens when you begin to choose differently. When you no longer react as you once did. When you no longer repeat the cycles of past wounds. When you set boundaries, yet keep your heart soft. When you can say no without guilt. When you can love without losing your peace. That is when you are stepping into the freedom I have prepared for you. You will no longer be led by the fear of being hurt again. You will no longer be controlled by the desire for acceptance. You will no longer allow old memories to shape the new future. You will rise with a confidence not born of ego, but from the awareness that I watch every step you take. Just as Micah 7:8 says, "Though I fall, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." My child, that light is already within you, and I will make it shine brighter each day. You will realize that true peace does not come from the calmness of your surroundings, but from the steadiness of your soul. No longer shaken by external storms. I am training you to become such a person, one not easily swept away by emotional tempests, not easily lost when others change, not easily shaken when truth is challenging. You will become someone who remains steady amid both praise and criticism, companionship and separation, waiting and fulfillment. And when you become this steady, you will enter what I have prepared for you in the new season: healthy relationships, timely doors, steps no longer distorted by the past, opportunities no longer hindered by fear. You will not only be healed, you will become an instrument of healing for others. You will speak from experience, not theory. You will give the peace you have received. You will lift others from the very place where I once lifted you, and the light within you will let many know that I have done great things in your life. Your healing is progressing. You are not at the end, but you are on the right path. I have begun, and I will complete. Keep letting me lead you through the deeper layers. Let me lay again every foundation stone of your soul. Let me rebuild everything that once collapsed. And one day, when you look back, you will see that everything I am doing in this season is preparing you for a new life, more peaceful, more discerning, and more free. My beloved child, it is time for me to speak to you about what I have long been preparing in silence, something you could only receive once you had grown, once you had stilled your spirit, once you had surrendered yourself into my arms. You once believed that the journey you walked through was merely a season of healing, rebuilding, and rediscovering yourself after many chapters of brokenness. But, my child, healing is not the destination. Healing is only the ground upon which I place something far deeper, the awakening of the sacred fire within you. The very flame I wrote into the essence of your soul from the moment of creation. No one is born merely to exist. No one is formed simply to wander aimlessly through life. Every soul carries a spark, one that will either sleep untouched for an entire lifetime or rise to become a torch that lights the way for many others. And, my child, I have seen in you something you have never dared to believe about yourself. You are a bearer of fire, not the fire of anger or ambition, but a flame of discernment, of strength, of purity, and of longing for what belongs to me. That flame was once buried beneath fear, wounded by careless words, and covered by seasons so heavy that you wanted to disappear from life altogether. But the flame did not die. It only waited for my touch. And now, I am touching it. Do you remember the moments when you felt an invisible stirring inside, a quiet invitation urging you to rise, to change, to step into something greater? You thought it was just emotion passing through. But no, my child. That was the echo of the flame awakening. I have shaken the foundations of your life to break weak structures apart. I have used silence to make you listen. I have allowed the departure of certain people to show you that you can rely on no one but me. All of it was to empty you enough so that you could receive what I am about to place within you. Do you think this flame comes so you may be admired or lifted up? No. My child, fire does not come to make you praise, fire comes to make you offer. Fire will not let you live as you once did, love as you once did, choose as you once did, or compromise as you once did. Fire makes you truer, deeper, sharper. It compels you to separate from what is meaningless, to stand upright in truth, and to step out of the comfort that has held you captive for far too long. And once the flame awakens, you will no longer be able to pretend it was never there. You will find yourself stirred by injustice, sharpened in your spirit when encountering what is wrong, and moved to reverence before what is holy. You will realize that your heart can no longer tolerate what is half-hearted. You will feel uneasy in toxic places you once forced yourself to endure. You will feel restless when wasting time, heavy when distancing yourself from prayer, and empty when chasing human approval instead of seeking my voice. These are the signs of the flame. My child, I did not awaken the fire in you only to leave you struggling with it alone. I awakened it to lead you into a new vision, a path that only those who dare to step into the truth of who they are can walk. You are no longer the child who needs someone to take your hand. You are being trained to become a guide for souls who have lost their hope, those who wrestle with the very wounds you once carried. The healing you received was never meant only for you. It is the well from which I will refresh those who cross your path. But I want you to understand something. Essential fire comes with responsibility. A bearer of fire cannot live carelessly. They must live awake, steady in heart, and upright in mind. You must learn to discern what belongs to me and what does not. You must learn to guard your heart against voices that seek to smother the flame through doubt, comparison, or insecurity. And above all, you must accept that you will not be who you once were. You will change and many will not understand. But do not let their lack of understanding cause you to dim yourself. I want you to step into a season where your feet no longer tremble. I want you to follow the calling I placed within you, not the expectations of the world. Because one day you will realize that you cannot live for me and for everyone else at the same time. Micah 7:8 says, "Though I fall, I will rise, though I sit in darkness. The Lord will be my light, You once sat in darkness, but now it is time for you to rise with the light that burns within you, the light kindled by my hand, not by any human. The fire I place within you is not a fire that destroys, it is a fire that transforms. It will burn away fear, consume what is false, melt down heavy burdens, and ignite in you a freedom you have never known before. You will find yourself thinking differently, feeling differently, acting differently. You will become strong where you were once weak, gentle where you were once hardened. You will love in a way that is whole, mature, free, not clinging, not controlling, not losing yourself. Do not forget, I give you fire so you may rise into a higher place of communion with me. You will no longer seek me only when you need a miracle. You will seek me because you desire to be near me. You will no longer pray just to receive answers. You will pray because your soul longs for my presence. You will no longer read my word merely to find a solution. You will read it because it is the bread that sustains your day. This is a level of maturity I have prepared you for long ago. And now is the time for you to step into it. Let me tell you this, do not fear the fire awakening within you. Do not fear the feeling of change. Do not fear releasing what must be left behind. Do not fear standing alone for a little while. Fire does not come to make you lose, it comes to lead you into the true self I designed for you to be. Trust me, for I know where you are going, and I never awaken a flame I do not intend to use. My beloved child, everything you have walked through was not merely for healing, it was for becoming. I did not simply rescue your soul from old entanglements, I have been restructuring you into a new being, one who can stand firm, discern clearly, and live with the alertness of a mature spirit. Understand this, my goal is not to keep you safe in quiet places, but to make you strong enough to stand in the midst of storms without losing the light within you. I did not call you into a land of endless calm. I called you to walk through life with a renewed mind and a heart that has passed through fire. Micah 7:8 declares, "Though I fall, I will rise, though I sit in darkness. The Lord will be my light." You have fallen, stumbled, and wandered in confusion. Yet those very moments strengthened the backbone of your faith instead of breaking you as you once feared. Do you realize this? Throughout the long journey, I did not shield you from every loss. I did not reopen every door that closed, but I kept your feet from slipping into bottomless pits. I upheld you when your spirit was reduced to a trembling flame. And today, I want you to know that this flame, though it once flickered, is now a steady light that no wind can extinguish. For those who walk through fire are never the same as those who merely watch it from afar. Those who cross the depths are never the same as those who only hear stories about the depths. You may not see the transformation within yourself, but I see every layer shifting inside your soul. You no longer tremble the way you used to. You are no longer easily swayed by the voices of others. You no longer lose yourself just to keep someone beside you. You no longer freeze when confronted with truth. All these signs reveal one thing: you have grown. But maturity is not the final destination. It is only the foundation upon which I build a new season for your life. And that is what I want to tell you today. A new season is drawing near, a season where you will no longer fight merely to survive, but live with clarity, fullness, and strength. In that new season, you will realize that my silence in past years was not absence, but preparation. I taught you to listen to my voice rather than the echo of fear. I taught you not to measure yourself by failure, but by the perseverance you held on to in moments when you felt you had nothing left. I taught you not to chase what others call necessary, but to discern what truly nourishes your soul. When I say you are entering a new season, It does not merely mean opportunities will arise, doors will open, or paths will brighten, though all of that is true. The deeper truth is this: you have been transformed enough to receive what I desire to give. You no longer build your future on fear of abandonment. You no longer choose the wrong people because your heart is still wounded. You no longer run from challenges out of fear of failure. You are ready to walk with me not because you are perfect, but because you have learned to trust me more than your passing emotions. In this new season, those who once troubled your soul will step away without you having to push them out. You will see relationships restored not by dependency or injury, but by honesty, respect, and truth. You will see things you believed were shattered forever begin to take on a new form, and you will find yourself placed where you belong among those who share your frequency, your values, and the spiritual longing I planted in you long ago. Entering a new season is not entering convenience, it is entering alignment. I will bring you to places where you no longer must shrink to fit in, no longer contort yourself to be accepted, no longer tie your worth to someone else's perception. I am bringing you into a spiritual landscape where you stand firm because you know exactly who you are, where you belong, and by whom you are led. You once asked me, "Lord, why must I go through so much pain?" And today I answer you, because you cannot enter a new season with an old mind. You cannot step into the promised land with a heart still bound by what distorts you. You cannot live in spiritual abundance with an unstable spirit. I did not punish you by allowing pain. I prepared you by allowing growth. Look back and see that no pain was wasted. No tears were meaningless. No lesson was unnecessary. No separation happened without revealing something crucial within you. All of it became the bricks, the stones, the cement through which I built the foundation of your new self, strong yet tender, wise yet humble, awake yet merciful. Prepare yourself, for I am leading you across the final threshold. From here on, you will no longer live as one running from the past, but as one moving forward with an open future. You will no longer live as one afraid of being wounded, but as one who can discern wisely. You will no longer live needing confirmation from the world, but as one who knows they rest securely in my hands. My child, this is not just a new season. This is your new self, and I will lead you forward. Thank you for listening to today's message. Subscribe and turn on notifications, so together we may receive the living words, build an unshakable faith, and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.